Blessings. Check 1, 2, 3. My name is Carlton Overstreet Jr. Thank you to our team. Production is most important. Thank you everybody for joining us. My name is Carlton Overstreet Jr. I'm the chairman of the San Diego Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K and Festival. And you are now tuned in to the Music and Social Resurgence panel. And man, let's get straight into it. If I can get the heck to go to our next slide, we're going to give the public an update before I introduce our esteemed panelists on what we've been doing here in the San Diego County community. In the month of July, we serviced 23,040 meals during July to the entire San Diego County. These are free meals that have been a hit with the county, and to God be the glory that we've been in a position to help so many in need. We have a list of community sponsors that without them, we would not be able to do what we've been able to do. So everyone has been on their post and a true blessing to our community and our team. So I always want to start the panelists that I have here today know the importance of giving credit where credit is due. And so we just wanted to thank all of our community partners with the San Diego Hip Hop Health and Wellness 5K and Festival. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce our guests today. Ladies first. And I think that she is the furthest. We'll go to the next slide, the background. Miss Chondra Profit-Ardrey from New York City. Wait. Via San Diego, California. Welcome, Queen. Thank you so much for being here with us. We also have DJ Battlecat, the legend, West Coast producer, DJ extraordinaire, OG, and Big Bro. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And last but not least, we have Dr. Knowles, AKA the Big Boss, the patriarch of the Knowles Empire. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
Thank you, Carlton. Thank you so much.
It's my honor. And to the public that for the first time are learning who you are, I'd like to start with Chondra. Just please give us a quick background on who you are. So you're just going to state your name, your professional title, and how you're feeling today.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Chondra Profit-Ardrey. I am a 10-year Broadway veteran, and I have, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mompreneur. I'm all the things. But I'm feeling good today. Today is a good day. I honestly can't complain. I was saying to Mr. Knowles when we first came on, it's been raining here in New York City. So we're just kind of, it's a little drizzly and, you know, that weather. But on the flip side of it, I feel really, really good. I can't complain.
That's a blessing. DJ Battlecat, what part of the United States are you in right now, DJ Battlecat?
Los Angeles, California. This is the legendary DJ Battlecat, producer, DJ, sound designer, mentor as well in my community, and glad to be here. And the weather is fine. It's warm. It's a blessing, like I said, to be here.
And how you feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. I got a big day ahead of me, and this is part of it. And I'm just glad to be here to give my energy and education and information that is so needed on this platform.
God bless you for joining us, both of you. And last but not least, Dr. Knowles, a man that goes without introduction. Let us know who you are, what you do, and how you're feeling today.
Well, Carlton, first and foremost, I feel inspired. I feel inspired every time I get an opportunity to especially see young people, as I'm the elder statesman on this panel, but to see young people giving back to the community. So I'm inspired by all of you. I'm a college professor for 13 years, author. My music business background, and I'm just a lot of gratitude with the success of my family, and gratitude to be here this moment.
What a blessing. Thank you for being here. All of you all are a part of a historical moment. Any one of you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but in the history of time, I don't think that we've ever had these four panelists in one sit down. Correct me if I'm wrong. So to be a part of this historical moment, as the chairman of the Hip Hop 5K, I am beyond honored to have you all join me today. And let's get right into it. Chondra, how you doing today? You doing okay? I know that you have, your plate is full, and to get you an hour of your time, I think you're just gonna have to send an invoice to Christina and she'll get back to you. But I just wanted to express, especially as an SCPA alumni here in San Diego, you are an inspiration to many. And can you just give those that are learning about you for the first time a quick background on your San Diego ties, and give us some journey notes on how you were able to get to New York to play what you're the role that you're playing now on Broadway?
Absolutely. So again, I'm Chondra Profit-Ardrey, and I am a California San Diego native, honey. Born and raised in San Diego. Born and raised in San Diego, went to SCPA, where my love for theater was curated and nurtured. And from there, I graduated and went to Los Angeles to go to the school called AMDA, which was, or is, the American Music and Dramatic Academy. And I got my degree there. Someone was writing they couldn't hear. So I just want to make sure you guys could hear on the group here. Let me turn my sound up. You can hear me? Okay, cool. So I went to AMDA, and I got my degrees from AMDA, and literally just kind of jumped right into the field of performing. And I performed in Los Angeles and in San Diego for many, many years before getting the call to come to New York for an audition that I completely bombed. But when I bombed it, I got stranded here in New York. It was like one of the worst storms that New York had seen in, from what I understand, like 20 years or something like that. And I got I got stranded here, and I was a kid. I didn't know. It was my first time away from home, coming to New York for an audition. And I didn't know what you're supposed to do. I didn't know you're supposed to call the airline and get all the information to be able to get on the next flight and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know that. So I waited, and when I called, they said the next flight wouldn't be for 7 days. And I said, what? And I talked to my friend who lived here in New York, and I just said, hey, maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is a sign for me to stay here in New York. And he said, girl, get out of here. And I said, maybe it is. And I asked him, I'm like, if I stayed, could I stay with you? And he was like, absolutely. And so literally I came to New York to do an audition, bombed the audition, got stranded here, and made the decision to stay. I never went home. And in that storm, I started, New York never shuts down. During this pandemic is the first time that New York actually was forced to shut down. So during this particular storm, people were still auditioning. Auditions were still happening every day like normal, like nothing was going on. And I started treading through 10 inches of snow and all random things that I had never, ever experienced in life.
Coast, man, I tell you.
It's crazy to go to these auditions. And I went to audition after audition. I still have a notebook. I went to audition after audition, and I ended up booking 3 jobs within a 2-month, like a month and a half time frame. And so I booked these jobs, and the one of the jobs that I booked was one of the prestigious off-Broadway theaters here. I didn't really know that either. And so I got the job, I went there, I did the show, and I emailed the casting director for the show the audition that I bombed and I ended up getting stranded here with. And I said, hey, I'm doing this show. I never left. I'm here. I just wanted to touch base with you and let you guys know that I'm around if anything were to open. He literally called me the next day and said, I'm so glad you contacted me. You've been on our short list. We really want to get you back in here for another audition. He was like, I think you just were, it was your first time. It was, that whole thing. And so I did. And literally, I auditioned, went to, bombed the audition, stayed in New York, did another show, came back to them and booked my first Broadway show. And I had been doing that for the last 10 years. And that was me doing The Lion King.
And can you let the public know what role you play in the Broadway musical Lion King?
Yeah, so in The Lion King, I played Sarabi, who is the queen, honey. The queen. Simba's mother, the queen that a lot of people forget about her, but I've been playing her for over 10 years, and I also covered Nala, and I played Nala just, I would go in for Nala sometimes if the other person wasn't able to do it, so they would put somebody into my space, and then I would go into her space to play Nala.
Beautiful. I think that we all in the entertainment industry can relate to the concept of hurry up and wait, and falling flat on our face before landing our dream role. A quick story of mine: I'm a Howard University graduate, communications BA. I know all about the East Coast weather and the seasons, and God knows why I moved back and I've been back in San Diego ever since. But immediately after graduating, Laretha Jones with Paramount Pictures had called and asked me to help work on a movie called The Fighting Temptations. And we shot that in Atlanta, Georgia, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and someone that I think Dr. Knowles may know pretty well by the name of Beyonce Knowles. And when I went down to Atlanta to begin shooting, I quickly found out that it wasn't time to start. And so I had to, for 3 months, figure it out, as they say. And that means, find loose end jobs and navigate the territory until production started. So thinking on the fly comes with this territory. And for our younger audience members that are here for the education piece, you have to be, as Chondra will agree with me, ready to adapt to change and to be able to think on the fly, AKA having a plan B, C, and D. Before I get to you, Dr. Knowles, I want to welcome Battlecat here to our panel. Battlecat, can you just give us a brief synopsis of your history here in the music industry? That's right, clap it up. But we have a studio audience here, Battlecat. All right. And many don't know. They see the picture here with Dr. Dre, Exhibit, and our other brother. But just give us a background. Let the people know how you came from Domino to Victory Lap, and why you're here with us today.
Well, being consistent and a student of great musicians and driving force of people like Dre and Greg Mack, who actually gave me the platform to become DJ Battlecat as a KD mix master back in 1987. But that put me in a unique situation with creating a project called Banging on Wax, which was to change the narrative of gang culture into a positive one. And we did that successfully, and that's how I met Domino. And to see him very passionate and diverse with music, he's a singer and a rapper. So that was unique for me because I never heard no one who could maintain both sides and had a positive message as well. And that was key to me being in my community. So we were successful with that, thanks to Russell Simmons and Leon Cohen's for believing in West Coast and Los Angeles culture and music and hip hop. Uh, Reputation is a must. I made sure that I was prompt, educated about my equipment, studying my craft, uh, respecting the history of all genres of music, and great musicians and producers that I was inspired by, like Quincy Jones, Curtis Mayfield, Barry White, and then hip hop would be Dr. Dre and the legendary Roger Clayton from Uncle Jam's Army, who was a big DJ and promoter that helped broke hip hop on the West Coast and R&B. So having all those tools to be the best that I am today, that's what me into a consistent and dedicated career. And as far as how I got to Nipsey, well, that's a childhood friend whose reputation was around the neighborhood, and we took notice to it, and I made sure that I made the effort to get in contact with him by any means necessary, and we did. And I just watched him indirect for years because it was important to see how his mannerism and respect for humans was necessary, because we have a lot of people who might have the wrong intentions and our ambitions in bringing their talent into the industry. But I didn't do any judging, and I embraced them. And I think when he got a chance to do his full LP and got distribution and everything in place and the right deal that was solid for him to bring in the musicians like myself and others, Bink, the Humble Monster, Mike and Keys, Lorenz, and then from 1500 to Nothing, Mars, just to name a few, who was instrumental in making the album go. And it was a pleasure to be a mentor and give him the best sound advice that I could so he could be successful like he was with the album.
Lessons. And we'll circle back to you in just a few and ask
Yes,
how
sir.
my business partner, Big Reese, played a role in the behind the scenes mechanics of, linking artists, producers, and everything as far as the layout, because we all know that teamwork makes the dream work. And then also your working history, long-standing working history with the likes of Exhibit and Dr. Dre. But I want to go ahead and get to Dr. Knowles and introduce you to our esteemed colleagues and those that have joined us here on the webinar. For those that don't know you, can you please give a background on how you established yourself as a music executive mobile from Xerox to the professor that you are now? And as you can see here, your beautiful daughter, Solange, who I had an opportunity of meeting on set at the Fighting Temptations. Your family is well known to the world, but we're here to give you your flowers. So without further ado, Dr. Knowles, let us know how you got here.
Well, I love hearing and listening to DJ Battlecat and the Chondra. And the consistency in all of our stories is that we've made mistakes, we've had some failures, but we grew, because I always say when you identify your passion and you live your passion, you never work a day in your life. And that's the important thing to understand. And just with that, when you do make mistakes and you do have failures, it's an opportunity for all of us to grow. not a reason to quit. I've never gotten better by success. I got better when I made mistakes. And success is not microwave. The folks on this panel will tell you this took years to get to this level. It didn't happen overnight. My background, just quickly, 20 years of corporate America. Most people, I worked in the medical division of Xerox for 10 years. Was fortunate to be the #1 sales rep worldwide, 3 years. First Black, or one of the first Black to sell CT and MRI scanners in America, and ended my corporate career as a neurosurgical specialist. Most people are shocked and surprised when I give that background. That's my background. And I learned tremendously from corporate America. I learned about how to approach the world rather than just America. When I got into the music industry, my former wife and friend, Tina, we had one of the top hair salons in Houston while I was in corporate America. Didn't know anything about hair salons, but we turned out being one of the best. Didn't know much about the music industry, but fortunate to have artists that had that passion, had that talent and work ethics, because passion and work ethics coexist, and have a team. It wasn't just I, it was we, a consistent team. And all of that is important. And now I teach, I taught at Fisk University, where I graduated from. I went back to school. To get in the music industry, I went back to school. I took music business courses. I believe education is key and critical. I went back to get my MBA and my PhD. And now I teach at Prairie View A&M, taught 8 years at Texas Southern. Have gratefully and blessed to have written 5 books: The DNA of Achievers, Racism from the Eyes of a Child, The Emancipation of Slaves Through Music, PR, in a Digital Age, and Destiny's Child, The Untold Story. And we have a number of film and TV projects on the way. So more than anything, I'm grateful to be on this panel. By the way, and Chondra asked me this earlier, this is not one of those backdrops. This is actually, my backdrop is actually where I am looking at Coronado, here in the great San Diego area.
Yes.
Man, Dr. Knowles, DJ Battlecat, Chondra, what beautiful introductions. We thank you for that. Dr. Knowles, I'm going to have to work. Yeah. Studio audience. Hopefully you guys can hear them okay. Thank you all three for that wonderful introduction. I know you. Most of the music industry knows you three, but the general public, and we have all walks of life that are in tune with us now on our live Zoom platform. The beauty of this technology is that we do get to record this and use this as a historical document and share to all of our counterparts near and far. What I can do, Dr. Knowles, I'm going to work behind the scenes and see what I can do to get you in San Diego as a professor at one of these esteemed colleges. You have my word on that. I would like to open up this platform for all three of you guys, similar to soul food dinner on a Sunday, but on a Thursday here, and allow this to be free flowing. The CNN one-on-one interview part is wrapped up. We are all family. My objective here is to really pop the hood and get a very sensible understanding on what we would suggest in our own respective lanes and roles for those that are coming up behind us to know that are challenged with COVID-19. Now, I mean, let's just be blunt. This is what we're in the middle of a pandemic, 2 pandemics, one pandemic that's been going on longer than 400 years, and another that is, very scary. So, Dr. Knowles, I like to start with you. There are businessmen, there are parents, there are managers of artists that are stuck right now as it relates to their progress in entertainment, and professors that are navigating through COVID-19. What have been a few things that have kept you healthy as it relates to mentally and spiritually? And what would you want someone that doesn't have access to speak to you on a Zoom platform every day to know on what keeps Dr. Knowles' head above water?
Well, good question. I'm always, very transparent. I believe that in my vulnerability lies my safety. So what you see is what you get all the time. I see today, I remember a prayer that said, pray not for a life free from trouble. Pray for triumph over trouble. For what you and I call adversity, God, the universe, calls opportunity. So although there's adversity right now, it's an opportunity for us to modify, adapt, and change behavior. For me, you ask me, how am I getting through it? I have a team, and on my team is a Black young man that's my therapist. I have a male Black man that's my therapist. And when this first pandemic started in March, I was because a lot of you don't know, I'm recovering from cancer. So I'm a cancer survivor, very proud. And so I can't travel. I have to be very, very careful during this pandemic. I can't travel on airplanes. But, I knew with that anxiety that I had that I couldn't do it alone. I have my best friend, my wife, Gina, always has been my rock. But I needed more than that. I needed to get outside help, and I need to bring a member of my team. And so everyone can't get a therapist, but everyone certainly can talk to a friend, a relative, a loved one, to walk through this, because there is a lot of anxiety. But we will get past this. I've been through all sorts of things. I'm 68 years old. I remember when there was no cell phone. I remember when there was no computer. I remember when people didn't fasten their seatbelts. I remember when they had a special section on the airplane for smoking. Crazy. Oh, this section is smoking. It's not going to hurt us. But we got past that, and we modified and adjust.
That's right. And one of the biggest takeaways out of several that you just, several gems that you just shared with us, is the importance of your mental health and having the confidence and the faith to tag team with the therapist. We as African-American men seem to run away from getting help. I want this message to be heard loud and clear, that it is cool for us to ask for help in a professional format. DJ Battlecat, I know for a fact, and we've all seen you on Versus with DMX and Snoop Dogg playing a very pivotal key role behind that DJ booth. But I know that we as a hip hop community suffered a big loss recently with the loss of Nipsey Hussle. There are many, we saw the entire, not just Los Angeles, but the entire world pour love into the community there. And I just want you to speak a little just from a mentor standpoint, someone that all of the producers in the entire music industry respects and relates to. Give us just a few gems on the importance of healing, and what and how has music played a role in you being able to heal from certain obstacles that you face, whether it's been losing a loved one, dealing with COVID-19, having to deal with record label politics and not having the budget that was agreed upon. Just give some of the, just I'm gonna speak bluntly, they're young homies, some gems on from a veteran standpoint, certain ways that you heal?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Great question. Um, Using my platform uh, on social media, Instagram, predominantly where I'm at. Um, for one, I greet people with a sense of hope and motivation, for one, because they are tuning in to look for that, because the music has reflected that since day one. So, very appreciative of that. Um, they are looking for answers. I get it all the time. What is my drive? What am I doing? I share with them testimony. I'm not afraid to put uh, the old me, meaning what habits and ways that didn't add up to be the best that I should or can be in certain situations. So they can relate to that because they know all that glitter is not gold. That's a cliche that's been shared many times in life, and it's the truth. So they want it uncut as possible, but I do it with class because I do represent both sides of my family, my mother and my father, the Gilliams and the Taylors. And my children are up age, and it's very important that they see how my spirit and choice of words and body language is on social media. Um, and yes, we have lost tremendous loved ones in the music industry and in our personal lives. And how we get through it is a positive song. Something I always been inspired seeing that as a young kid. When I mention the artists like Al Green or Earth, Wind and Fire or Quincy Jones, they have made records. It's many more to name. They have did so much for us in showing us the way and how to deal with the triumphs and trials and tribulations of life. And the song has always been the next door neighbor uh, to be able to heal. So I do that, and I share with them education and what I'm learning. Uh, it's very important that I give them sound and accurate information because we do have people who will challenge you live on Instagram. They have a second device and would tap in, meaning Google everything that you're talking about to see how accurate and solid the information is. So I make sure that I have sound information to do so. Um,
Absolutely.
and I wanted to answer one more thing too, because you said something else that's connected to the streets. Now, one thing is that they do know that it's two different entities. The person is Kevin. So hello world, this is Kevin. But
That's right.
the face brand that Kevin chose is to be Battlecat is this face. So it comes with two responsibilities and being me knowing which place that they're on the platform that they belong and how important it is to them to know who I am. So for those in my neighborhood who come from the streets can appreciate the fact that I'm accessible, but I'm me the whole time. And it's important because what I stand on is the Most High. I am a firm believer in God, um, thanks to my mother and grandmother and father. And I'm a student of learning Him and understanding my calling and position and purpose here on earth. So the fact that people can still see me like this, that come from my neighborhood on these platforms, they know, okay, that's still Kevin. That's our Kevin. And they can relate with that because to be anything else uh, that don't have any blessings or benefits, then I wouldn't be able to pull them from where they at to a better place. And that's why I have a beautiful family that comes from that culture, from the streets, like Snoop Dogg or uh, just to name a few who that came from the streets. Game or YG or the new generation, they really respect me because when we did the project called Banging on Wax, I was able to show them uh, uh, producers and community uh, protocol or language, body language, as we would say, to be able to maintain in this industry. And so they loving what I'm doing. They've been behind me, and I'm so grateful that we did that, and the fact that we've been able to not stop every scenario that is dark in the community, but they know that the marathon continues in many ways. So keeping a positive attitude and is my motto when in everything that I do. So that's basically it.
Lessons. And the beautiful takeaway amongst many of the gems that you just shared is having the brotherhood in place and
Yes,
everyone playing a role and surrounding each other through the healing that's required to maintain the longevity that you've had here in the music industry. So whether
yes,
it is your mother or the artist or your brothers from the streets or a therapist, we
yes,
can't navigate alone when it comes to the healing aspect of life.
exactly. I
And,
agree 100%, 100%.
and this
And
panel is a family discussion. So
yes,
we're not here at the Grammy Awards or the Stellar Awards or the Emmys or the Tonys. We're here to discuss health, mental, physical, spiritual, as it relates to the social climate of 2020. Chondra, I know there are some high school students that are tuned in right now, probably one, two, or several from SCPA. You can remember being a junior at SCPA or a senior and looking to graduate early to navigate this entertainment industry. I want you to talk to the young lady. And you mentioned that you are a mom, what did you say, a mom entrepreneur? Um, Define that for us. Give us some insight on your support network, especially being so far from San Diego. What it's like coming out of feeling defeated after an audition. What mental strengthening tools would you suggest to the young lady that may be dealing with depression or body shaming or feeling alone when it comes to just life? Give us some gems.
Ooh, well, that's a little bit of pressure on my back, but I will say this. I will say this. Being a performer comes with those pressures anyway. So it's something that I had to learn really, really, really early on is to walk in me, in my truth, in who I am and who I represent at all times, and not be swayed by what I see going into an audition room before me or behind me, right?
Right.
And so if I, especially now with the pandemic, it's even more true, this saying of not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I, there's been this whole, when the pandemic happened for artists, it just kind of like this whole halt is like, who's going to create the next big thing? Because you have all the time in the world to do it. Who's going to, who's going to, write the next book, write the next musical, write the next great song, create the next big A, B, and C. And at first I found myself trying to jump in on that. I'm like, oh God, I've been saying forever I was going to finish my musical. I've been saying forever I was going to, have these different aspects that I've been working on in my career. I've been saying only if I had the time, I would do it. But now that I quote unquote had the time, I felt the pressure of being looked at by other artists and other people who were creating, taking this time and creating. And I felt like, well, I'm what am I doing? I'm just sitting here being a mom or wife or whatever and not creating. And then I had to just step back and say, that's not what I needed at the moment. Yes, this break came as a pandemic or, all the things. But for me personally, I needed a mental break.
Uh,
I needed time to shut down and get myself in order, to be able to create, to be able to be a great mother, to be able to be a great wife, and all those things, that other things that I do.
Chondra,
And
not to interrupt, can you let us know what a day looks like in prepping for a Broadway musical, so that our audience has an idea of how intense the day is, especially with the production elements involved and getting set up?
sure. So if you're in the production of a Broadway show that is already in full production, a day in the life of a person is really your own personal do's and don'ts. So my show has been running for over 23 years. So the production aspect of it is set, that we don't have to worry about that. But as an artist, I still have to train, I still have to maintain, I still have to do all the things. So a day for me, with starting without my family, just myself, is I get up at 4:30 in the morning and I work out. My child is up early, so that's the time that I have to to do it, so that I could do it with peace. Get up at 4:30 in the morning, I work out, and then I have the day to do whatever I need to do. But then when I have to go to work, I have to do some type of show ritual to get ready to go into work, meaning a warm up, a vocal warm up, a body warm up, those type of things. And that can be an hour to 2 hours before the show call time. So the show call time, like the show's at 8:00, your call time is an hour before that. So it's at 7. So that means that I'm at the theater by 5, so that I could warm up vocally, warm up physically, to prepare for the show. And then by 7:00, 7:15, I'm in makeup. So by 7:30, I'm ready to go. Then the show, you do your 2.5 hour show. And then after the show, for maintenance of an artist, you have to do what we call cool downs. So you cool down after the show, or calm down, in more layman's terms, after the show, which could take just as much time because you're so excited from the lights and the energy from the audiences and different things like that. So I come home, I decompress with my family. I might take a bath or whatever. I might have a glass of wine. It depends, what it might, what it might be for each person. And so, and that's another 2-3 hours, so a day for me literally goes from 4:30 in the morning to like midnight. Honestly, I can't lie and say I go to bed. I sleep a lot, because I don't. And
we understand how important it is for you to be mentally fit on a consistent basis for decades in your role on Broadway, because Broadway is not an environment of games. And I think, this is something that I just took away from what you shared in your schedule, the importance of your timeliness. Because when it's call time, and this is specifically for our younger entrepreneurs that, are pretty lackadaisical when it comes to showing up to appointments on time and being places on time strategically, and just, out of politeness. Chondra, the only reason why she's been able to sustain her career on time, as long as she has in her role, is because she shows up ready, focused, present. And if you don't, as Mr. Knowles, I'm sure, could testify, you get cut. Mr. Knowles, how many members of Destiny's Child were there before the last 3?
Well, you have to remember that Destiny's Child started out as Girls' Time. Gosh, I guess it was probably about 15 different, we're talking young girls, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, at least 15. Then they became the Dolls. Then they became Something Fresh. Then they became Cliche. Then they became Destiny. I'm just tired of just telling you all the names. and Destiny's Child. So,
Right.
it's been about, I would say, 17 to 18. You have to remember, I wasn't involved in the very beginning of this with Girls Time. I was just a dad doing what parents do, supporting my kid.
Carpool.
And you illustrate the full cycle and growth of Destiny's Child. Can you let the public know the book that was recently published and where we met last at Barnes and Noble?
It was a great experience, by the way, Carlton.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your support that you gave me. I needed it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Can you let the public know where they can find out more in the book and just give us a brief background on the title?
Destiny's Child, The Untold Story. As Black people, if I don't tell my story, it will be his story. Catch what I just said, history, his story. A lot of people outside our Black community tell his story, not my story. So I thought it was important that I tell my story from my perspective as really how Destiny's Child came to be the greatest selling female group of all time. And again, it was a lot of mistakes, a lot of failures that made all of us better. And we all grew up. But it started with, let me say that word because there's a lot of young people listening. It's really important that you identify that thing that you dream about, that thing that you go to bed at night just thinking about, excited, and wake up in the morning. That's called passion. And when you find out what that is in your life, and you get to do what the folks on this panel, and we just heard Chondra talk about her day, but because she's passionate, it fuels her, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Passion, there's a lot of people that end up doing things in their life that their parents wanted them to do or society wanted them to do, but never really identify that one thing, not 3 or 4, but one thing that they love and dream about.
That's right. And as DJ Battlecat, AKA Kevin, I'm sure would agree upon, it's not every single second of the day goes towards producing platinum albums, right? What do you do, man, to keep your head above ground and level-headed outside of music in your community? You mentioned being a mentor. Can you give us an idea of what that looks like when you step away from the studio?
Yes. By me being a husband and a father, that's another position that is very much needed. That helps me be whole as a man, as a friend, as a brother, as a producer, musician. It's so important. I spend family time. Like I have my youngest son here with me now, and it was very important because he stays a little ways from me, and so it's very important that he understands the importance of communication, behavior, habits, all that. I'm just with him. He's seeing how I am around the clock. I took him quite a few times in the musical professional setting. He see how respect is once we enter the building, how we are greeted, what the conversation is, the hospitality, all that is important that he see with his father, how my working environment is. It's more importantly for him to understand that. So when I'm not around him, he can tell that Dad is in a setting where I'm being the best that I can personally and professionally at all times. It's necessary to be me and to have an open mind for others and their opinion and body language as well. It's the only way that I can maintain a successful opportunity when I'm giving one, or if I'm giving one myself. So
Yeah, that's true leadership.
yes.
And leading by example. something
Yes.
that, you know, we can't necessarily see when we press play on a Snoop Dogg or Game album. But I know that when I met you for the first time at the 1500 or Nothing Academy, I mean, you had such an aura about yourself and the way that you presented your lecture to the students, including myself, that were there partaking. It was like, man, when he talks, you listen. And I think that the younger generation, you know, as they navigate not only through COVID-19, but just life in general, pre-COVID-19, has lost a certain sense of respect for the elders that have come before them in both in the entertainment industry and, you know, in the community. But it is our duty here, and I look young, but I'm 40 and I have mentees of myself. It is our duty to maintain our and know that people are always watching us on and
Yes.
off of social media.
Yes. Yes. I get that all the time going to a gas station, you know, anywhere where I'm going, you know, I'm going to be approached and I'm ready. And I understand that the preparation starts right here, being blessed to wake up, that I not only belong to myself, I belong to the most high, the village, everyone that wants to come in contact. I make sure that I have an approachable aura about me in the first place. That's important because you never know. It's a blessing behind these different walks of life. And I'm just glad to get that early on in my upbringing and into my career. And I understand too that not only me being who I am, that I am a student too. So I do come with an open ear as well as an open heart when I'm passing, and passing with others in life. So I think that helped me tremendously through these COVID-19 times. You know, people to see that I am being precautious and I am healthy, but I can still be me at all times, and it's important that they see that. I can't say too much about it, but I'm just glad that we have this kind of platform to express that, because when I'm on Instagram, they get the same thing too. They get a little bit of Kevin and my professional side of me as well. It's necessary that they can see that it's cohesive, it's transparent, as Knowles put that out there. It's so important because we was raised that way to be that way. So it's important.
I feel not only like I'm at a Soul Food Sunday on a Thursday, but I actually feel like I'm in the faculty lounge at a university listening to all three of you guys. Chondra, did you have another point that you wanted to make before we get on to our next quick exercise out of respect to you all's schedule?
Yeah, no, I was just amening and agreeing with my brothers on here, because you know it's a question that you had brought up, Carl, was about legacy, and I think that is a big part of your legacy, is knowing that. Well, for me, I want people to know, like, when I'm not here, I made them feel in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like when I walk into a room, they know that I'm bringing love, I'm bringing peace, I'm being unapologetically myself. You know what I'm saying? And therefore that's what they know at all times, that when Chondra Prophet comes into a room, this is how she is. She's not gonna be like this in a certain space of her people, and then in a certain way over here. No, she's the same way everywhere that she is. And I think that's a big part of being an artist, is that consistency, being consistent in who you are everywhere across the board. No one should be able to say you act a certain different way or you are a different way. This is across the board. This person is a dope person always. You know. And another quick thing that I wanted to say of a mentor of mine, you know, I have a few mentors. Debbie Allen is one of my mentors. Kim
Our university.
Sorry, Kim Page is one of my mentors, but one of my favorite mentors was a high school teacher, Mr. Robinson.
Yeah.
Who,
He rock.
yeah, But you know, the common thread between all of my mentors is the same thing. And they've all said it in different ways, but they've all said it. If as an artist, if your call time is 7:30 and you arrive at 7:30, you are late and unprepared and you shouldn't come. And so I have taken that with me since I was a little girl with dealing with Mr. Robinson for sure, is that if you are on time, you are late. Right. If you are early, you barely on time. You have to prepare yourself with enough time to have mishaps and faux pas and all the things that come together as being especially in my field, which is live artistry. You know, anything can happen at any moment in time. So I just wanted to get that.
And we're going to continue this series. You all three are welcome back. This is just the start of many conversations to come. When we return back, I'd like to have an entrepreneurship talk with Dr. Knowles. I'd like to follow up post-COVID with you, Chondra, to get just perspective on how the new Broadway is working. And DJ Battlecat, obviously the nature of the music industry as we know it, as far as touring is concerned, we want to dive into that and to give artists new ways to new ideas on ways to grow their business outside of just, you know, selling out of the House of Blues, if you will. But for the sake of time, I have a short exercise, and this is going to require discipline, which all three of you guys have. Before I move to this next exercise, I just want to make sure that our audience understands and respects timeliness and knowing that in our industry, word of mouth travels fast. So if you're an artist that always comes to, and interrupt me if I'm wrong, Battlecat, always comes to the studio intoxicated, your likelihood of getting a DJ Battlecat full production, you know, 10 tracks or Dr. Dre cosign is probably going to be limited. I mean, if you're an artist that comes to the live Broadway shows late and you're holding up production, 9 times out of 10, you have an understudy waiting to take your spot. And I'm sure Dr. Knowles, without getting into full details, but I have read your book, a few of the past Destiny Child members showed up to the flight or said, you know, hey, I don't think that this performance is important. And that was it. They were no longer part of the group. And then the word travels. So producers, promoters, DJs, managers, artists, all talk. And I don't care what part of the region you're in, the word gets around. So it's whether he or she is professional, whether or not they're a good mentor, whether or not they're a good mother or father, whether or not they're mentally or physically healthy, are conversations that the bosses have, the producers and directors have before they bring you on to the production team. And many budgets are established and negotiations throughout agents and the companies, executive companies are made based on your value, and you are creating your value as an artist and as a brand with every move that you make. So without further ado, we're going to do this one exercise and then wrap it up. If we have any questions, I'll ask our administrator. Shout out to Mr. Heck. Shout out to DJ Artistic. Shout out to Xtina Jerry, my team that have been working, behind scenes to get this beautiful background, to get the music played. I know the volume was a little low, but listen, this is just series number 4, and I'm welcoming you guys back again and again because I love your energy and the gems that you've been able to provide. It's not every day that San Diego County is able to speak to Beyonce's dad, or to a Broadway star that was raised in San Diego, or to a platinum producer that has worked with the likes of every artist that you like and love. I want to pull up a picture, please. And this first picture, if you could see, I want one word. This is for you, Dr. Knowles, and I hope that I'm not stumping you. I hope that you've had an opportunity to learn this man's legacy. This is Clarence Avant. One word that comes to mind when you see this photo and this that represents this industry giant. One word, please.
Leadership.
Thank you. Next photo, please. This is for DJ Battlecat. The next photo that you see. Give us just a second. You know what's up? All right. The image on the screen. Who you see there, DJ Battlecat?
Man, professional at all times.
And that's James Brown, for those that don't know. There are some, I don't need you to give me the specific number, but I know that probably one or two of your classic hits have sampled one or two of his drum patterns or sounds. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't count right now, but when I kind of stayed away, believe it or not. But I'm very unique when it comes to using anything like of his great contribution. So for me, I'm a sound designer. So I wouldn't put it past if it was a snare or a kick. But musically, I made sure that I stayed away because I was educated early on about how publishing is. So, but I have been inspired by many of his compositions and contributions to music. Definitely.
Most definitely. And when we bring back our brothers Rance, Mike and Keys,
Yes.
DJ Khalil, and the many other industry professionals on our future Zoom series, we want to definitely dive into publishing, and I'm sure Dr. Knowles will have some as well about that. This is the music business, and so a lot of musicians only focus on the music, but these industry giants will be able to provide us with some gems as it relates to the business side. So we have the next photo up. That's for you, Miss Profit. What's one word that comes to mind when you see this dynamic photo of the legendary Lena Horne?
Yes, sir. This is a trailblazer.
All right, trailblazer. Okay, leadership. Let's go to the next one. This next photo, we're still playing the one-word game. That's coming up is going to be for Dr. Knowles. When you see this photo image load, let us know one word that represents Berry Gordy of Motown Records.
Oh, legendary.
I don't think that it would be a surprise to any of us if you let the public know how many plays came from his playbook or inspiration, how much inspiration came from his legacy as it related to you managing Destiny's Child, your daughter Solange, and countless other acts that could be found in your story, the untold story of Destiny's Child. Next photo, please.
I have to say, Carlton, a lot of people will be surprised, but I've only met Berry Gordy once in my life. And I really have always had my own vision. And so I really never, ironically, we both had a house that we had our offices and did a lot of artist development. And I applaud Berry Gordy because he's an expert, but I didn't really have an opportunity to know what he did until as I got older.
Man, this is an exclusive gem told directly from Dr. Knowles, the originator. We appreciate you, your legacy, and most importantly, your time. We're going to go ahead to the next photo. I think that we had it up on the screen, but this is for DJ Battlecat. What's one word that comes to mind when you see this legendary icon, George Clinton?
My foundation of funk and leadership like never before. There's so many groups that he created, and how he had an open heart and ear when Bootsy and Catfish came to his family of music. Working previously with James Brown was mind-blowing. So this man right here is still relevant in our lives, especially mine. So I have a beautiful relationship with him and his new extended family, meaning his nieces and daughters and beautiful wife that have kept him so whole and loving and educated and spirited on a whole nother level. That's why he's still my go guy and my foundation today.
I think that the entire public can read into your energy into just speaking about George Clinton, the legend, P-Funk All-Star.
Yes.
The respect level shown. And as a drummer myself, as you see drums here in the frame, a lot of the licks that from Dennis Chambers and on and on and on, without that man, I think that it's safe to say, and please correct me if I'm wrong, as Dr. Knowles did, I think that West Coast gangster rap owes a lot, if not all, to that man. But you can
Yes. Yes.
Next photo, please. And last but not least, one word from Miss Chondra. And for those that don't know who that is, Stephanie Mills playing Dorothy on Broadway in the production The Wiz. What's one word that comes to mind? Look at her face.
Iconic.
All right, listen. Okay, so I just wanted to bring these images up for the general public that may not know what legacy is about. I wanted the panelists to have an opportunity to just share one word as it relates to the emotional connections that they saw just from the image. And I want to leave the Zoom call before we answer one or two questions from the public with this. When someone brings up your photo in 10, 20 years from now, what are people going to say about you? I know that just the mere fact that Dr. Knowles, Dr. Profit, Dr. Battlecat, y'all are doctors today to me. not to slight the hard work that goes into the title. But I just want to say that you all have played an inspirational role, whether it's the alma mater that we share as a high school, whether it's the drum patterns and the way that you think as a musician, whether it's your management skills or your fatherhood skills and dealing with the adversities of life. I've been watching for decades, like many of us. I just want to give you your flowers while you are here and just say thank you on behalf of the entire San Diego community, San Diego Hip Hop 5K Health and Wellness. Our entire platform changed when COVID came. This is normally just a panel that happens in October, but due to COVID-19, it's allowed us the opportunity to bring this to the general public months and months on end. And I welcome you back ongoing. Let me just ask our admin if we have any questions. Are there any questions? Okay, and I gotta wrap it up signal as well. You all three are welcome back. I would like to start with Chondra and then Battlecat and end with Dr. Knowles with any parting words that you have as far as just what you want your legacy to be moving forward, and then we'll say our final goodbyes. Chondra, you have the floor.
I just, when someone looks at my picture, that's a good way to put it. When someone looks at a picture of me, what do I want them to say? That I have to really, really think about that. But I could say that I want them to know that I gave literally my all in everything that I do. I want them to know that I am unapologetic. I keep saying that word because that was something that I had to really grow and be okay with, is being unapologetically myself. And so, I want them to know that I am unapologetically powerful. I'm unapologetically Black. I'm unapologetically amazing at everything that I put my hands to, and I'm not sorry about it. And so, if they see my photos, see my see something that I've done, I just want them to be able to say, "Man, that girl is amazing. That girl is dope. That girl is everything. She makes me feel great." Say it again. You kind of went out. I'm sorry.
I said you have Christina. You got Xtina over here in tears.
Oh. But yeah.
Battlecat, speak on legacy, OG.
Well, to be short and sweet to it, man, I want, when they see the picture of DJ Battlecat, it's going to be a reflection on themselves that said that this man was about love through his music, and he gave his heart, and that's what I always been about with music, So I want to inspire everyone else to be educated and open-minded and open-hearted about your purpose. And it's a thing that's called love, and that's what it's about. And that's all I can say. I've been about love since day one of my purpose in music, and that's it, man. Love, and hope. That's it.
And it speaks through your legacy and what you already have. I'm talking about decades of music. And for anyone of our audience members that may not be familiar with DJ Battlecat's work, just start reading the credits. That's all you got to do. And you're going to find this brother on any and every major A-list rapper and musician, not just rappers.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Tell the truth.
DJ Quick to Dr. Dre to Rance to Mike and Keys to Mars to George Clinton. That'll get a phone call and say, hey, what do you think about this, before it heads over to Dr. Knowles' office and over at the record company. So, man, just continue keeping up the great work, both Chondra and DJ Battlecat. And last but not least, Dr. Knowles, you have the parting words here. We respect you. We respect all of you. And we respect everything that you've done. You paved the way for young entrepreneurs and fathers alike. Me, myself, I have a 9-year-old daughter. She's going on 39. But she is a performer as well. And when it comes to my fight and to make sure that she has the security, I look up to individuals such as yourself and the strength that it takes to endure in a very tough industry. What do you want your legacy to be in 20 years from now when people see your photo?
Well, I don't think yet my legacy has been completely written. I hope that it's about giving back to my community. I love working with young people and giving back. That's why I'm in the classroom. Giving back is real important to me. And I think when we talk about Black Lives Matter, I want to end by saying I am so proud of our young people, how they protest, how they voiced their concerns. I call it social courage. And I see that with our young people, how they spoke up, spoke out quickly, sooner, faster about racism, about sexism, xenophobia, and all the other phobias. So I'm very, very proud of our young people. And I said, I don't think my legacy is yet to be over. I think I still have a few more things that I want to do. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity. I really enjoyed listening to DJ Battlecat and to Chondra. I love your word, unapologetically. I like that. I use that a lot, by the way. And thank you, Carlton, and your team for allowing me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Your legacy will carry on as long as I'm around. And I appreciate all three of you guys. It is my duty to remind the public to remember to stay safe out here, wash your hands, sanitize, wear your mask, practice social distancing. COVID-19 is very much alive and real. Practice patience, find a counselor, embrace healing, check on your elders, and just be kind to one another. Okay, we're gonna leave here with DJ Heck on the ones and twos. We appreciate you. We appreciate DJ Artistic, Xtina, Jerry. We appreciate the community. And if you guys, I will connect all three of you all. There will be a playback here. We're gonna upload this to YouTube, and for those that missed this, we'll be able to publicize this on all of our social media networks. This is a business card. So I'm done here. Thank you guys. God bless you. Stay safe. Thank you to your families for allowing you the time to come spend it with us. DJ Heck, take her over the ones and twos. God bless.
Hey, thank you all. I had a wonderful time. Thank you. Very enlightening information, and I will be picking up your book, Mr. Knowles.
Thank you.
Sandra, Blessings.
version?
Learned a lot about you in a short time. I'm very grateful.
Mr. Knowles, is there an audible version of any of your books?
Actually, there is. Racism from the Eyes of a Child,
Okay.
the Emancipation of Slaves through music,
Yes.
and how most people don't realize that that's 2-year journey. The African slaves didn't really know each other. We assumed because they were Africans, they knew, they couldn't speak the same languages. They were tribal. 30% of them were Muslims. And so it's through the chains, the pounding, the crying, the moaning, that they began to communicate. And then they took that into, when they got here to America, how they endured that day of being beaten. And it was tough. And music was the way that they got through this. And like off what it does to us as well, and how we feel. So
I always post something. I don't know, I try to post like once a month or something, but it's like somebody singing, and the hashtag that I put is like pulling through music. And that because so many people can't, I know for a long time, me personally, like I couldn't articulate feelings. I could only sing it. that's how I articulate how I'm feeling. And, just now I'm being able to articulate better how I feel. But for a long time, it was just through my artistry that I was able to really articulate.
I can relate. I definitely can relate.
DJ Battlecat, man, thank you, man. You're a good man. You're a good black man. I can feel and hear and sense that in you. So it's always good to see a young black man speak his truth.
Well, I feel like I didn't inherit an uncle and a father of the music industry. I quite often desired or always wanted to have. So it's a pleasure. I will be reaching out through you more often than I have as far as appreciating you. I'm gonna start first by picking up the books that you put together. I think it's very much needed in my life. The one that you said about the slavery through the music industry, or something like that.
Emancipation of slaves.
Emancipation of slaves through music. Man, I think that one is going to really resonate with me big time.
Yeah, I'm like online right now looking for it.
and they also in those lyrics, they had messagings of how to escape. When they would sing about go down to the River Jordan. That meant you go to the river so you can wash away the scent. So the dog is. It was messages in those songs that they wrote. So I think you'll really appreciate understanding how the slaves were clever and used music. The slave master wouldn't let the African slaves use drums because he thought that was how they communicated.
They like, let me trick you and tell you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Here.
But it was messages through the drums, though. Am I right?
It was.
Yes.
Wow. And through, like that.
He halfway got it right, but he didn't know that they were singing and humming songs. The go wash away and then the look at the moon and follow the moon to Canada. He didn't realize that they used to make fun of him. They make fun of the slave master in their songs, and he didn't know that either. Well, it was great. Get my number, and we'll stay in touch. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Proud of what you're doing. Continue to make us proud, please.
Thank you, Mr. Knowles. Thank you, Sandra. Man, blessings. I definitely will reach out. You guys have a beautiful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.